I get hate mail. Isn't it hilarious how neurotic, self-absorbed, unmanly men always end up as clergy, in jobs requiring no ambition, drive, or talent? You could not handle any job working with men, or that required you to actually produce something of value. So you fritter your pathetic days away hobnobbing with bitter, unattractive, shrill, asexual women and with effete, insecure, hate-filled men who are less masculine than the women. Seminaries attract brain-dead failures who lack the drive and intelligence to plan worthwhile and productive careers, so you end up as clergy, mouthing 1960s love and peace platitudes and fancying you are concerned and compassionate, while you constantly spew your hate at Christians who view things differently from you. After sleeping with your creepy male professors, you wind up at some pissant dead-end church in the middle of nowhere. Your story could be titled, "A Loser Comes to Podunk." Luckily for you, the mainline churches have such low standards for their clergy. The illiterates in your church wouldn't know if you were quoting the Bible or Oprah. In churches like yours, what the members know about the Bible and doctrine would fit on a post-it note. They don't even care that their disgusting clergy are molesting boys and meeting men for sex in public restrooms. What a laughably pitiable excuse for a man and human being you are. That's my first piece of hate mail, everyone. Just a little note. There was no signature. This is the original. There was no signature, nor was there a return address or anything. Just a envelope labeled Peace Fest. I'm sure that was just a ploy to get me to open up the letter. And I don't know why I blotted out my address, because if this gentleman, I'm assuming it's a gentleman because I don't think women waste their time with things like this. But if this guy got it, I'm sure that anybody can really get it. It's probably broadcast on one of my social media accounts. But I was excited to get this because it's sort of a rite of passage for a blogger or sort of a social media personality. Not sure why I labeled it that way. I think it sort of means you've arrived, that you've struck a nerve or something. Or it could just be that this... I'm going to go ahead and call him a gentleman throughout. This gentleman is just angry and needs an outlet for it, and that's why I got this letter. But I wanted to share just a couple things about it. First of all, were all the different references to multiple things. There were 4 references to sexuality, if you notice. Whether it's me sleeping with young boys or my creepy professors, or the asexuality of my female professors. And there were 10 references to someone's intelligence or work ethic. As I was reading this, something came to mind: Gertrude's Law. From Shakespearean literature, it actually refers to Queen Gertrude from Hamlet, whose famous line, "Thou dost protest too much," sort of refers to someone who's over-passionate about something specific, which sort of points to a problem in their own lives. I can't really speculate as to what's going on in this gentleman's life, but, you know, we may have a clue there. And I don't know what motivated this gentleman to write the letter. It could be frustration with seminaries, because it talks about, you know, the seminary professors multiple times in very negative connotations. Frustration with mainline Protestantism, which I can sort of relate because I'm frustrated with mainline Protestantism quite frequently. Or, you know, frustration with his own perceived inadequacies. Whatever it was, he sort of actually struck at something. I don't know how he knows about me, whether or not he reads my blog, or he's friends with me on Facebook, or he follows me on Twitter. I don't know how he crossed my path. I don't know that, but he's obviously upset with me. And there was one thing that I wanted to point out about this, because he got to a good point about why it is I do what I do with social media. I'm not afraid I'm sort of out there with what I believe, and I can show a little righteous anger in the face of it. But he hit a point when he was talking about clergy not being able to find worthwhile and productive careers, so that's why you end up as clergy, mouthing 1960s love and peace platitudes, fancying you are concerned and compassionate while constantly spewing hate at Christians who view things differently from you. And that's what that sort of struck a nerve with me, because as a teenager, I spent a lot of time in a fundamentalist church with a fundamentalist mindset, where I would go to bed at night and need to ask God for forgiveness in prayer for everything, every little thing that I had done throughout the day. I would need to do this, or else I feared that I would die. If I died in the night, I would go to hell. It was frightening. I mean, literally frightening how scared I was in those times. And that is sort of... Then I met my wife, who took me to her church where her dad was the pastor, and it was an amazing experience. I was wakened to Wesley's understanding of grace, and that's where I found my theological home. But I still realize that there are people out there who are being forcefully pushed out of Christian community because of someone else's beliefs this way or that. Be it James Dobson, be it Pat Robertson, MATT Driscoll, whoever it is, John Piper, these guys' beliefs can really keep people out of the community of faith. And that's just not what Jesus did. Jesus did not do that. Jesus met people where they were. He talked about love, and he talked about peace, and he was concerned, and he was compassionate. And that's sort of the way that I seek to be in my online social media life. And that's sort of the reason that I wanted to bring this letter to your attention. I won't bring every piece of hate mail to you in a vlog, but this was the first one. So I thought it was significant, and I thought I'd bring it to you. Check me out on my blog, www.notesfromthepastor'soffice.com. Find me on Facebook, friend me. Also on Twitter at ICanHasGospel, gospel with a Z. That's at Twitter. And we will see you next time.